The Big Adventure, Episode 4, On to St Malo. Well, having spent a very pleasant night in the garden of France and Charlene, it's time to leave the little village of Fay behind and head off on the roads to St Malo. Well, unfortunately the weather is not too good here, but the forecast is for it to get better this afternoon and to be quite nice in St Malo.
In 600 metres, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto Les Oiseaux, D57 heading to Laval, Saulges, Poitiers.
I'd love to know if she's got a good French accent with the names.
Continue on D12 for 3 kilometres.
Well, I've got about 120 miles altogether to go, and it's going to take about 3.5 hours, I think, if I don't have any hold-ups, but then I'm going to be stopping a couple of times as well. And so far today I've managed to remember to stay on the right. Well, after all the lovely clear roads, very little traffic, I've now hit the metropolis with a lot of traffic and traffic lights and funny roundabouts. We've got 8 minutes, I think, or 7 minutes to go to get to this campsite, where I'm hoping that I can get a space.
In 200 metres, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto Rue Graveur de Chaleur, D126. In 150 metres, at the roundabout, continue straight onto Quai du Val, D126. Exit the roundabout onto Rue de Gaspé.
Well, at the moment it just looks like any other large city, and I must admit the city is much bigger than I expected it to be.
Continue for 1 kilometre.
And you can always tell when you're getting into a built-up area, you need some more space. Okay, build some apartments over the top of the road. Well, you can tell we're coming into an old part of the built-up area. It's outside the city walls, admittedly, but it's still quite old because the streets are getting a bit narrow. And I shan't be sorry to get this campsite booked in, because I've been driving now for about 4.5 to 5 hours and I'm ready for a stop. I have stopped a couple of times along the way, but one of the reasons it's taken me so long is I've asked the sat-nav to avoid motorways and avoid tolls. So I've been on all the back roads.
In 200 metres, turn left onto Place Saint-Pierre. Turn left, then you will arrive at your destination.
Oh, I've got checked in. I've got 2 nights. Oh, well, I'm checked in at the campsite. 2 nights with electricity, and it came out at £22 a night, which is, considering where we are, I think that's good. So it's about a 10-minute bicycle, I don't know, not bicycle ride, it's about a 10-minute walk, I think it is, into an interesting part of the town. But this campsite, anyway, it's certainly packed. They packed them in. Take a look at this. Those 3 there, and they're much closer than you get back in the UK. And those funny looking pod things there that they really packed in. And this chap here next to me is parked sideways on. I don't blame him because of the shape of the ground. But anyway, now I'm going to go over to inspect the toilets, and they're just up here. Let's go and see what they're like. Well, here they are. See if you have to fetch your own loo paper. Go and have a look. Yep, looks like you do. Bring your own. The laundry room, nursery, and down here what is it? Shower cubicle, fixed head, and there's a shelf up there so you can put stuff on there. That's not too bad. Go back, have a cup of tea, and then see what we're going to do this afternoon. Well, it was actually the next morning that I went out anywhere, because I'd had enough of driving and travelling around, and the weather was okay. But the next morning, although the weather was looking nice, it was quite early, and I put my heated jacket on, got the battery in the pocket and everything ready. And I don't know where I got the 9-minute walk from, but it wasn't 9-minute walk. It was more like 9 minutes in the car, and quite a long time on Muriel. But she took me there. Well, this little square is about just 150 metres from the campsite, and there are 3 restaurants here, and that one that you can see in front of you there with the wooden surround, I ate there last night. Very good. St Malo is actually a substantially walled city, and the walls are still fully intact, probably because they didn't have a bloke called Oliver Cromwell around who went round bashing everything up. But anyway, interestingly enough, the place, St Malo, is actually named after Maclw, who was a Welsh monk who settled on the rocky islet and became the first bishop of nearby Elf. In the 8th century, locals fled to the islet to escape the Norman raids, establishing the first substantial community. Because bear in mind, this isn't Normandy, this is Brittany. The old town is enclosed by thick granite walls built to defend against pirates and foreign fleets, and they were built in the 17th century. Well, inside the city you can see there's plenty of restaurants, cafes, hotels, and cobble streets. And I tell you, those cobble streets were shaking the life out of Muriel and me. But for people who like individual shops, this is definitely a place to come. And ahead of us there is this exit from the city walls, and you can see, get an idea how thick the walls are. Look at that. That's amazing. But we go outside here and along the side of the wharf, or along the water side, and I'd seen a tall ship up there and I wanted to go and see it. I'm riding along outside the city walls at the moment, and the tall ship is over there and you can just see the masts. I'm fascinated to see what it is because I like boats and ships, you know that. When I got up close, I discovered there was something going on, and they wouldn't let me through. Apparently it was a boat show, but it wasn't very big, and it wasn't of any interest to me really. I just wanted to see that tall ship, but that's as close as I could get. So I don't know very much about it at all. Anyway, it was time for some breakfast. But I thought I'd go and have a look over the seawall first. Nobody, cobbles are shaking to me to bits. And there, beautiful, beautiful beach. And look at the blue, blue sea. Wonderful. Oh, I know some people who'd love that. And looking round the other way, you can see the end, or the sea end of the fortifications. Certainly a magnificent walled city. Beautiful. But now it's definitely time for coffee and a petit gelée. I hope I said that right. And it looks like I've come to the right place. And that place down there with a red canopy, that looks attractive. Yeah, so quick glance at the menu. And Park Muriel up alongside the table there. And for those of you that don't know, Muriel is my little scooter. Parker there, and settle down at the table. Would you, one coffee please? Well, he came to take my order even before I'd sat down. And having sat down, I had a quick look at their little menu, and there was a continental breakfast there that I took my fancy, so I ordered that. I have and after a very refreshing croissant and bread roll with jam, Google Maps told me that there was an ATM just along this street here. And so far this journey I've managed without using any euros at all. But I think it might be useful to have a few. Somewhere along this road here, it's obviously one of the main shopping streets by the look of it. And there should be, yes, and there it is, an ATM. Get some cash out. Right, well, let's take a look around the inside the walls. And St Malo's historic centre, known as Intramuros, sits on a granite islet connected to the mainland. Its massive medieval and early modern ramparts completely encircle the old town, creating one of France's most striking fortified cities. The walls were built and expanded between the 12th and 18th centuries, giving the city its unmistakable fortress silhouette. During World War II, in 1944, the walled city was three-quarters destroyed by Allied bombings. It was meticulously rebuilt by stone to its historic appearance. The walk around the complete ramparts is 1.75 kilometres, and from there you get panoramic views of the English Channel, the tidal islands of Grande Bay or Bay and Petite Bay, and the long beach, which you've already seen. Intramuros is a compact maze of granite townhouses rebuilt after 1944. Narrow medieval streets, seafood restaurants, and the restored St Vincent Cathedral, built in the 12th and 17th century, but unfortunately locked when I was there. I couldn't get inside. I was very disappointed about that. But I'm determined to get to the top of these walls and have a look out at the sea. And St Malo has some of the highest tides in Europe, not as high as Cardiff or Bristol Channel, but still very high. And at low tide, there are two islands that you can walk out to. But at the moment, I cannot find the way up onto the walls on my scooter. Well, there are the two islands that you can walk out to at low tide, but I'm still not on top of the wall, and I'm going to get up there somewhere or another. There's something interesting. A saltwater swimming pool, complete with diving board, that refills itself every high tide. I like that. Well, I continue my search for a disabled ramp up onto the top of the walls. There's the gate. Let's go through there. Oh no, down there. Could be. Could be. Is it? No. No, not there. Oh, at least one pigeon stayed to have a chat, but then he flew off. So, I'm getting a bit frustrated now. Go and try back up this way. Yep, back through the gate. More restaurants, more little streets. It's quite fun going around here. But still no sign of a ramp. Oh, and a little bit of graffiti. I suppose you find it everywhere these days. What's round here? Oh, look. Found it. The ramp. Get to the top of here. And we should be on the top of the walls. Yes, cracked it. And then my phone rang, because most of my pension comes from property income, and the agent was phoning me about something. Well, as you can see, the walls don't look so wide or so thick here, but that's mainly because they're tapered. And you can see also that they're very popular for walkers, runners, and people on scooters like me. You get some good views from here, and I spent a few minutes looking around before I decided it was time to head back. And about 100 metres up the road from the campsite on the top of the hill is this old fortification, and it was used during the First and Second World War, I think. It's now a museum, and if you're ever at St Malo, then it's worth coming up here to have a look, because beautiful views from the top, and there is a museum that you can enter into. Some of the old gun emplacements and various wartime buildings, really. But that brings this episode to a close. So if you've got this far, thank you very much indeed for watching, and as always, BFN. Next episode will be St Michael's Mount, or Mont Saint Michel, and Honfleur, which is at the mouth of the River Seine. Lovely town.